Sato Maya and Matsushita Kiaki during standby. Did you invite Ayano Kuji-kun too? School had ended and Sato had walked to a classroom in the special section of the school building in order to meet up with Matsushita, Michan and Mizuno. There she reported to the others about how she had called out to Horikita and Ayano Kuji. Yes, I remained in the classroom for a bit, and since he was there with Horikita-san, I thought, why not just invite him as well, so I just did. You still haven't given up on him yet? After what you said about just being friends? Lend me some of that courage. No, that's not it. I just thought it would be nice to hear a boy's opinion, that's all. I mean, but the truth is, her true feelings were seen right through by Matsushita, who made a hand gesture mimicking that of a reporter holding a microphone during an interview. Since we're going to show the boys later anyway, I wanted to show him first, I think. Sato embarrassedly blushed while Matsushita grinned like a cat. This is so embarrassing. I can't do cosplay in front of the boys. Hey, Michan, if you're going to take this attitude, you won't be able to hold up during the real deal, you know? If you don't do your best, Horikita-san may cut you down without hesitation. But you said only Sato needed to talk. She hugged her own chest along with the Chinese-made uniform as she trembled like a jelly. Your cuteness is to blame, Michan. Oh, it's almost time, so you should go change now. I'll stand guard in the hallway, so rest assured, Mizuno said before she exited the classroom. While the three remaining girls had lots of thoughts about this, they began to change into these unfamiliar costumes. But oh well. This is good practice for Michan as well, since showing yourself to the boys will be important, you know. We could get advice on how they see us, which is going to be important for sure. Right? Ayano Kuji-kun won't look at us in a weird way, and he is dependable too, I guess. If we had to choose a boy from our class, it would have to be Ayano Kuji-kun or Hirata-kun anyway. Michan's hand stopped for a second when she heard Hirata's name. Oh my, who is it did Viba think of? Hold not back and just bid us, shall I meant not us, saying, lots of girls are vying for his attention, you know Tilda? But you've been hanging out with Konji-kun lately, haven't you? I saw you guys during summer vacation from time to time. I was so sure you've switched targets. Maybe she was trying to steer the conversation away from Hirata, but she grabbed onto this topic as she looked a bit too restless talking about Hirata. There is nothing between me and Konji-kun at all. It's just that he's surprisingly easy to talk to him. That's surprising? Yeah. So there really is someone on the same wavelength as him. How should I say it? He's very knowledgeable. And he's seeing things I can't see. Wang began to talk about the treasure hunt game they participated in on the boat during summer vacation and how Konji's unique way of looking at things had won them a huge reward. But despite hearing all of this, Matsushita and Sato's evaluation of Konji did not change whatsoever. Hey you three, stop talking and change, will you? Mizuno warned through the door, and the three girls made some flustered voices as they resumed changing clothes. See Chabashira SS. A restless mind. I was preparing for the special exam tomorrow. I went to the staff room do the final checks on the equipment I'd use tomorrow. But no matter what I did, I couldn't stop thinking, and this worry wouldn't quite disappear. I stood up from my desk in order to calm myself down. I remembered Sato, who visited me yesterday, asking for permission to rent a classroom in the special section of the school for the sake of the cultural festival. A maid cafe, was it? Since this was the very first cultural festival of this school, there were many things we still didn't know. The teachers were still investigating the most correct attractions to employ. While heading for the special section, I happened to meet a student heading away from the direction I had planned to visit. He had this unmotivated expression, but it could be said this was his usual look anyway. Did you check up on Sato and the others? I asked, and Ayano-kuji nodded lightly. I listened to the program and what they were planning on doing. It's not a bad idea, that's for sure. They can't start to prepare for it unless their proposal has been accepted in the first place. I was going to check up on them since I'm personally a bit curious how it's going. How are they? That was a lie, but also the truth. If this could serve to distract my thoughts, anything goes. Horikita looks like she's optimistic on their behalf. Seems she thinks they have a winning chance. They are finalizing the last details now. No problems on their side. That was relieving to hear, and I had no more reason to visit them. I see. Then there's no reason for me to check up on them anymore. I got caught by them, so it seems trouble is heading my way. In other words, I've become their manager as per Horikita's instructions. You? Oh, that sounds... I tried to imagine it in my head, but no matter how many times I tried to picture it, he and maid cafes had no compatibility whatsoever. By the look he had, I could see that even he agreed with me. It will be good for you. Horikita sure do have some interesting ideas. I surprisingly began to look forward to how this cultural festival would go. He looked like he was going to vocalize even more complaints to me. I tried to guide him a bit as I really hope this festival will become a good memory to him. This is a chance to learn about things other than studying, so accept your fate, Mr. Maid Cafe Manager. I somehow got more relaxed and did something I usually would never do. Ayano-kuji. Could I have some of your time later? Am I ready to confront this special exam? Or was I confronting it already? I began imagining it. Karaizawa KSS, reading the mood. It was noon and another special exam had begun. I was, as usual, focused on acting out my character while scanning my surroundings. I was especially looking at Horikita-san. Everything she said and did. It was something Kiyotaka had instructed me to do. My one important task. This is what I think. Our most ideal opponent for the last exam of the year is Class B. In other words, Ichinose-sei's class. There are 3 reasons why that is. First, unlike Sakeonagi-san or Iyun-kun, there is a good chance our fight with them will be fair, a battle between our potentials. Even if the special exam itself turns out to be an irregular one, there is no need for us to worry about getting outwitted by some hidden schemes. Next, they're currently Class B. We would get additional bonus class points due to that and mean we can take the lead and take the initiative. And lastly, their strong stance is just for pretense. Our Class C and Ryun's Class D are already right behind them. They had a lead over us for some time, but their trajectory has been going downhill, which is why I think they are the ideal opponent for us. Don't you think? Had I been the same as before, I'd never have listened to her seriously, I guess. I'd never been confident, and it was also a pain to listen to her babbling on and on. But I was different now. Kiyotaka believed in me and he expected something from me. Just by knowing this, my ability to concentrate flew through the roofs. If anyone is opposed to this, let me hear what you think. If not, if you all don't mind selecting Class B, vote for them so we can get this done quickly. Horikita-san finished her speech swiftly without any dead time. I knew this was the time to interject, but I had to be patient. At a time like this, it was standard procedure for Hirata-kun to back her up. I agree to this as well, Horikita-san. The bonus points we could get from defeating Sakeonagi's Class A are huge, but it's hard to think of a more difficult opponent. While we shouldn't underestimate the bonds and the solid fighting style from Ichinose-sei's class, her class is in my opinion the best opponent we can hope for. He supported her proposal as if he could read the future one step in advance. I immediately, and with a clear purpose in mind, raised my voice without any hesitation. Me too, me too. We don't get any bonus points from Ryun-kun's class, so he's not that tasty, and we can't just laugh it off if we lost to Sakeonagi-san, I guess. I said, sounding like an idiot while trying to instill the idea that any class other than Class B wouldn't be tempting enough. This was something even I could understand, so everyone must have realized what I tried to convey. I saw several students nodding and was relieved. I got shivers as I felt the whole class getting united. Horikita-san must have understood this as well, as it looked like she had nothing more to say. There were still a lot of time, so we were free to talk for the rest of it. Truth is, while I'd have wanted to talk to Kiyotaka, I can't be a bother to him now. Reading the mood is a rather important skill. Yes, an important skill. I stood up from my seat and went to talk to the girls sitting nearby to waste time. Yes, I only need to repeat this as necessary. I want to finish this special exam quickly so I can return to the dorms. And then I can go on a date with Kiyotaka, Hasibe Haruka SS, facing tomorrow. School had ended and the shocking revelation was revealed to us all. While heading home with Kyopon, I hurriedly entered the convenience store and went for the fried food displayed by the cashier. I usually didn't anything this fatty, but the convenience and the calories made me give in. There were no other students here, so paying went smoothly. I returned outside where Kyopon had been standing and waited. He looked a bit surprised by croquette in my hand, I think. Feeling embarrassed by it, I tried to cover it up with an excuse. You know, I got so into talking with Irie during lunch today, so I never got the chance to eat. This was, well, an excuse, but also the truth. I really did receive a shock today. To think Kyopon was dating that Karaizawa-san of all people. It felt like someone had pulled the carpet from under my feet, as he'd never shown any hints of dating anyone ever. Of course, my reaction can't hold up a candle to Irie's. Sorry for troubling you. I knew what my best friend, Irie, felt about him, and so did he obviously. No, that's not it. People are free to love whoever they liked, and I already know that cases of mutual love were in the minority. But still, I'd hoped Irie and Kyopon one day would come to love one another. Or so I think. But there was one part of me that felt something was off. But that's all tightly sealed up. Eventually, I'd finished the list of things I wanted to ask him about. Are you really dating for real? Who confessed first? When did you start dating? Confirming each and every one of those points was my goal today. Trying to ask something of you now feels like bad timing on my part, but there is something I'd like you, and if possible Irie, to help me with. Help you? I'd still only eaten half of my croquette, before he switched to a topic that surprised even me. It's currently being kept under wraps for the time being, but one of the attractions we're going to do during the school festival has been decided on already. Oh, is that so? I'd heard nothing had been decided just yesterday, so this was a bit surprising. Since we want to avoid any leaks, only Horikita, I and the ones planning it are in the know. So, we're going to make a maid cafe. Maid cafe? Well, hey, why am I not surprised? It's a bit unexpected though. I never thought a person like Horikita-san would ever acknowledge such an event, you know? She's probably indifferent towards all proposals, I think. From her unbiased point of view, we simply may have a chance if we go for a maid cafe, and so she accepted it, I guess. Well, there are a lot of cute girls in our class, I must admit. We could probably earn a lot from those adults coming to visit the school during the festival, but still, something feels a bit. But I can see why it could work. I see, I see. So, what's the reason you are telling me about this? Truth is, after I came to know about this, I was asked to take care of various stuff. Kyopon is going to manage a maid cafe. While his very image doesn't suit at all, I could see the reasoning behind letting him take care of it. I bet Horikita managed to string him up and pushed the task to him by force. She's quite the girl since she's able to put you into this situation. But since he's telling me this, it can only mean only thing. And so, I was hoping you and Irie could help out in the cafe. Of course, it would boil down to this, I guess. As for me, The first thing that popped up inside my head when I heard about the maid cafe was Irie. She was shy and had no confidence to speak of. But this was a perfect chance for her. If you had asked me this before this thing with Karizawa-san happened, I would have said yes, even though I have some qualms about it. I don't like to wear something like cosplay in front of many people, but I couldn't have refused if a friend asked me. Your timing is pretty bad, you know? There were no guarantees that Irie would have been able to smile while participating in this festival while being heartbroken. It's a bit troubling that I can't blame you for it, Kyopon. I said it all before, but I think people are free to love whoever they want and that I can understand there are things you can't speak about. Irie was also free to fall for you. And you were also free to reject her. To tell the truth, I need courage in order to talk to her about this later. But, yes, this may be something necessary. This was perhaps a stepping stone. A large step towards making her able to smile and move forward. I can't promise you anything, but once she's calmed down, I will talk to her. In fact, if this could become a chance to make her stand up again, I would try talking to her at once. You're okay with it? He seemed a bit surprised by my answer, perhaps since he never thought I would accept. That girl needs to accept reality sooner or later anyway. And although I don't know about you, having Karizawa-san as her opponent doesn't mean she has to give up, you know? Even though you may be gung-ho about her, there is a chance she can reject you, right? Yes, that's right. Irie still has a chance. There is still a year and a half left. If she can hit a home run with loaded bases at the very end, it would be Irie's victory.